HARK, we are here. It is time for another episode, the final episode of This Is the Way. I know it's been a while since the video's released. That's definitely mostly my fault. There was some stuff that has happened. My vision of the game has changed. We'll talk about that afterwards. I do want to actually give you all something cool to watch. So I do have a full booster box opening. That was the last booster box that I was supposed to save for 4 more weeks of This Is the Way. I ended up not doing that. And also my local has effectively just completely dried up for multiple different reasons. But we're not going to talk about that specifically. We're going to do this box opening. I'll show you guys. I may have repeated some stuff in the next segment. I recorded this almost a month ago, but we're going to go ahead and check out this box opening, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you the reasons why things worked, things didn't work, what I'm going to do moving forward, and then, end the video. So without any further ado, let's crack a box. Here's what we're going to do. We've got 6 packs from the previous box that we had been opening. I know it's been a while since we've done one of these episodes. Stuff has happened that's caused me to reevaluate how this works. So we're not going to do just these packs. We're also going to crack my last box. This is probably going to be the last episode of this specific series, and the reason why is I'm a little disappointed with the way that it's gone. A little part of it is based on my own issues, and part of it is based on issues that I'm kind of having with not necessarily the set, but with the way that the meta has kind of evolved. It could be I'm just bad at the game. I'm willing to admit that. But we're not going to torture you all with a continuation of a series that I'm not particularly happy with. What I will do in the future is try to tune the next version of this a little bit better. I think I made some mistakes in how I limited myself to the product and how I operated playing the game in person. So we'll make those changes in a later date. We'll talk about it in another video, maybe another episode 0 for Twilight of the Republic, which I think might be a really fun set as we're seeing continued previews for it. But without any further ado, let's just crack 30 packs. We're looking for good legendaries, and we're looking for showcases. That's pretty much it. We're going to go through these as quickly as we possibly can because there's 30 packs, and there's not really a whole lot of stuff that we particularly are looking for here outside of just good cards. Good cards are good cards. So we have a Hyperfoil Gentle Giant. That's pretty good. I'm just going to set aside all the rares and stuff. There's not, like I said, At the end of this, actually, we'll be merging the collections together, so maybe I'll try to build one more cool deck out of just everything all together. Who knows? Things are going to change. We've got ourselves a Hyperspace Boss. We got lots of those. We're looking at a Hyperspace Deathmark, and then we've got a Let the Wookiee Win, which I'm not sure if I have the full set of that, and a Foil Protector of the Throne. I don't think I'm going to be getting a Legendary out of this batch, but we'll see when it comes to, because these last 6 packs, I believe I've opened all of the legendaries from them. So, Wild Rancor and a Foil Queel. I'm going to have a stack, just an absolute monstrous stack of extra cards to deal with. So, I should be neater about this, but we have ourselves a Remnant Science Facility with a shield on the back. I think that might actually complete a play set of Hyperspace tokens. We got a Hyperspace Principled Outlaw, which we take those. Bounty Hunter's Quarry. Okay, a Crate Dragon. This is, I think, my 6th Crate Dragon. 5th or 6th overall, not necessarily in this specific series. But, not complaining. The value of them is going down a little bit, as I'm seeing a lot of people aren't necessarily playing it. But maybe with the PQs coming up, the viability of that will change as people are doing more cool things with those cards. So, Enfitmon and a Foil Frontier Trader. So that's fun. And then our last pack of that box is going to feature Hunter. Oh, wow, cool. I think that's my first Hunter I've pulled from this series. We have ourselves a Hyperspace Vigilant Pursuit Craft, and we have Altering the Deal and a Foil Gamorrean Retainer. So, that crate, actually, pretty good pull. Can throw that into my regular trades and maybe try to get another Darksaber or start hunting down for Hyperspace cards that I need for various different things, and Hyperfoils, because we're still trying to Hyperfoil that Twin Suns deck. So, we have here a Xanadu Blood and a Foil Sundari Peacekeeper. So, I don't think I have any foils of those regularly in my normal collection, so that's a decent pull. I'm not going to set any of those aside because I'll figure that out later. Ooh, okay. Yeah. I'm glad I opened this box because that is a showcase Kylo Ren. All right. You know, again, we take those. We don't complain those. Let's see what else is in this lovely pack here. I see a Hyperfoil already. It's a Hyperfoil Wanted Insurgents. So that's pretty interesting, and an Evidence of the Crime. This is one of those things that I kind of worry about my boxes that I've stored for other things. Because I do have 2 of each, set 1 and set 2 set aside. One for permanent collection. They're never going to be opened because I want to be able to have those because I've never done that for any other card game. And then I have a box of each of the other ones, like I said, 2 total for each, because I want to do a Chaos Draft with a box of set 1, a box of set 2, and a box of set 3. So we'll see how well that ends up working. We've got a Smuggler's Starfighter. It looks like we've got another... Ooh, we've got a Hyperspace Fen Rao. That's dope. And a Legendary Ruled with Respect. That's my second one of those across both collections. So, Fen Rao, that's actually a good pull for me personally. We'll put that there because that elevates one of my Twin Sons cards. So, I can say now I have a Hyperspace and I don't have to chase down a foil or anything like that. We got a Fennec Shand, common leader there. We've got a Hylaban Enforcer. We've got an Unrefusable Offer. We have a Foil Take Captive and a Maz Kanata. Pretty interesting there. The art for the PQ or Store Showdown, I think it's Store Showdown version of that, is really good. I want to try to get at least one of those. So, next up, we've got a Hyperspace Coronet City with a shield token on the back. So that's nice to handle. We've got a Migs Mayfield and a Foil Moisture Farmer. I'm interested that it's Kylo Ren. That means I probably got to try to build that deck. But overall, I honestly really just want Rey. So, pulling through, nothing super cool here. We've got a Tech. That might be interesting. And a Foil Emphas Nest. I think that's like my 5th or 6th Tech. I've got, I think, 4 of them regular and 1 foil. So, continuing to crack open packs here for them. We've got a Final Showdown. I believe that's my 2nd copy of that. Might be my 3rd. I'm not entirely sure. So that's interesting. This is actually going to be the box with the legendaries that a lot of people are undervaluing or don't generally like in general. I think Final Showdown's a really cool card, but you haven't really found a deck that's very good with yet. Ruled with Respect is a very interesting, like, pseudo capture card, but because of how easy it is to defeat single units, it's not very good, so I am also undervaluing it. We got a Hyperspace Mandalorian Warrior. We got a bunch of those, but that's okay. We have a Hyperspace Forlom. That's pretty cool. And a rare Jango Fett with a foil Vambrace Grapple Shot. Didn't say it wrong that time. So, still have that OP Jango Fett. Nobody's wanted to trade for it, so I assume that means that nobody wants it. We got a Hyperspace Cad Bane. We're looking at all of our cards here. We have a Swoop Down and a Foil Bounty Posting. I don't really know why I'm separating the rares. I'm standing while doing this, so my back's hurting a little bit. We have a Remote Village with an Experience token on the back. Handy dandy. We're looking at a Mystic Reflection and a Foil Covetous Rivals. Second to last pack of the first half of this box with an upside down foil, so that's weird. We've had a lot of those. Here's a Kylo Ren. Housecast Soldier. We have a Zuckuss. We have a Legal Authority. And then a Foil Val. Foil Rare. Not terrible. Haven't seen too many people use that card, though. There's a lot of underused cards in this set, so which is unfortunate. Moving along, we have ourselves a Hyperspace Gamorrean Retainer. And we have a rare Koska Reeves and a Foil Wanted. And now we go to the second half of this box. Can't complain about the box with a showcase. That's the rule. We have ourselves a Hyperspace Covetous Rivals. And then we have a rare Prey Vizsla and a Hyper Foil Millennium Falcon. Very, very nice. It's a very good looking card. Unfortunately, not a very good card. So, another Hunter. We take those. Looking through here, it looks like we have ourselves a Hyperspace Imprisoned. Then we have ourselves a Poe Dameron. That is my third regular Poe Dameron. Actually, no, it's my second regular Poe Dameron because one of my decks has a regular, a foil, and a hyper foil. So I can at least throw the hyper foil out to trade that for a bunch of stuff and then throw this in. So I'm happy with that. And a foil Hut's Henchman. Another upside down card at the back here. Trying to keep the trash all coordinated. We have a Hyperspace Lando Calrissian, which is nice. We have a Hyperspace Cartel Turncoat. It's a pretty fun card to use. Guild Target, we've got a Triple Dark Raid, and our foil is a Cobb Vanth double rare pack. That's pretty cool. I actually will set that here because I can trade out one of my staple versions of those. Not seeing a lot of people run Cobb Vanth. That was the card everybody said was going to be really good. We have a Hyperspace Maz Kanata's Castle with a shield token on the back. Running through, we have a Tarful and a foil Smuggler Starfighter. Cracking these packs as quickly as I can. Nothing too good here. We've got a Rickety Quad Jumper Hyperspace. And then we've got a Mandalorian Armor and a Jetpack and a Bravado. So that's pretty good. I got a lot of those Jetpacks early. Finn. Not really run at the moment. We've got a Maul. Mauls are good. Pirate Battle Tank. Actually, that Hyperfoil looks real good, especially with the reduced text on the keywords. So, probably going to have to keep that and throw it into a penny, not a penny sleeve, a inner sleeve. Cad Bane. We have a Hyperspace Wanted. I think this replaces the foil Wanted I have in my deck, Twin Suns deck. So that's cool. We've got a Heroic Resolve. Those are nice to have. I think I don't know if I have the full playset of those. And a foil Freetown backup. Tracking down to the last bit of the box here. We do have all three of our legendaries that we were going to get from this box. That's pseudo guaranteed. Moving through, we have a Spare the Target. We have an Inspiring Mentor and a Hyper Foil Relentless Pursuit. That definitely replaces the one that I have in that deck. And I think I don't have a Hyperspace Spare the Target. So this has actually been pretty good for that Twin Suns deck. All right. Looks like we have ourselves a Hyperspace Boba Fett leader. We have a Lom Pike and a foil Weequay Pirate Gang. I do actually have 3 copies of the Organized Play Program pack version of that. So fun there. Boba Fett, I would love to flip a second showcase. I know it's not going to happen, but that'd be great. Guavian Antagonizer. That actually looks pretty cool. Again, the reduction of the reminder text. Hyperspaces are the best cards. Hyperfoil is probably the second best. We have a Hyperspace Sundari Peacekeeper. We have an Omega. And we have a foil Gentle Giant. So, happy to have that Sundari Peacekeeper. I want to use that more, but it hasn't really put in the work for me, but it's definitely put in the work for my opponents. So, skipping through as we do, got a Headhunters, a Hotshot DL44 Blaster, and a Pillage. In our last pack here, we gotta get that last pack luck. Let's pull something gigantic. Let's pull something fantastic. Got a Bosk. We have ourselves a Deathwatch Hideout with an experience token on the back. We take those. These Hyperspace tokens for set 3, those are going to be very, very valuable. Looking at a Bo-Katan, we've got a Marauder and a foil Enticing Reward. Not a fantastic pack, but you know what? We're not going to complain because, as I said, Kylo Ren. I guess I got to build this deck. I don't really know exactly how I want to build it. The Aggression Cunning version of this is just nasty fast. But I feel like double aggression might actually be the way to go for Senor Ren. But there we go. Crate Dragon from the first six packs, Rule with Respect, Final Showdown, and Poe Dameron for the packs thereafter. Some stuff for collections and for Twin Suns decks. And there it is. So thank you very much for joining me, folks. We'll do the outro here in a second, but hopefully we'll do better in the second version of this series.
So there you have it.
Funnily enough, as that box is part of our opening experience, we've opened 3 showcases for this series: the Lando in pre-release, the Boba Fett a few months back, and then the Kylo Ren, which I technically opened a month ago, but you're seeing it right now. So fun stuff, lots of cool pulls. One of the things that did kind of hinder me early on was I wasn't really pulling some of the commons and uncommons I really needed to be successful at the various different decks that I was playing, and not having access to a lot of set 1 stuff really also hurt. Having to trade out a couple of extra things to myself just to get that parity in the deal of getting the Sabines was already tough enough. So couple lessons learned: don't focus on one thing for too long, but make sure you're focusing on the thing that's going to make you successful. I could probably have swapped that Mando aggression deck into being something more competitive, running Poes and Wreckers and the ships and the Cassians and stuff like that, but then it wouldn't have been a Mando focused deck, and that defeated the whole purpose of this is the way, right? I got demotivated from the game, honestly, losing basically every week. And it's not necessarily losing every week, it's just having to face the highly competitive decks every week at a local is what bothers me. I understand PQ testing season and Store Showdown testing season, and you want to get your competitive testing in early on. But once you hit a certain point, realistically, it should be have fun at locals and do your testing in your little groups, your circles, whether that's IRL or whatever form webcam that you want to be able to play against your opponents in different areas. Ultimately, what this series comes down to is, honestly, I will be 100% honest, a genuine failure on my part to put as much effort into it as I was thinking I was going to, and also allowing myself to be demotivated very early for having what I thought was going to be a really good deck and basically getting decimated by everything around me. That was not a fun experience, but I shouldn't have let it demotivate me. I should have been able to do better and get better at playing the decks that I should be playing. I did have some fun experiences where I played at a local convention where I did technically 3-0. I played at another store that I had never played at before where I went 2-2 with 1 bye. So I won only 1 match and lost 2 matches and a very, very resounding loss. But I did also get to go to California and hang out with Kevin from Roll On Gaming and his crew over at their store, which is a great store to go to. Aaron and Mike were gracious enough to also hang out and play with us in that area, which was super cool. All great people all across the board, very good players. I was out of my depth based upon the decks that I was playing and also my experience with those decks and other things that were happening. So in the future, if I were to do that again, I would try to be better, or at least have one deck that I am solid on rather than a bunch of decks that I have played a handful of times and one deck that I'm not solid on, even though I've played it a bunch. Ultimately, what it comes down to is that next time I do one of these, I'll definitely need to put some more effort into it, but I'll have to be smarter about the effort that I do put into it. Going to more than one local a week is definitely going to be something that I need to do to make sure that happens. And then prepare myself in a way, if I were to do this sealed/trade only progression system, to make more effort in the trade aspect, to work outside of local circles, because I did get pretty stuffed out of people doing trades. There were 2 weeks where I was able to do some trades, and then I ended up trading for a showcase, the Gar Saxon showcase that you can kind of see right there. But that wasn't really, that included some stuff from This Is the Way, but mostly stuff from my own collection. But that ended up not being a card used in This Is the Way because we weren't playing Gar, although it might have been interesting. More effort needed to be put into it, and I needed to make sure that I wasn't getting super emotional about something, about losing or my idea is not working. If it doesn't work and I know it's not going to work, just move on to the next idea. And I think that actually is advice that can help a lot of people. But ultimately, if I were to do this again, we'd change up some of the rules. I try to make sure that I'd have at least access to all the commons and uncommons very quickly, because spending those first like 3 or 4 weeks trying to hunt for those Concord Dawn interceptors was an absolute mess. And if I had those right off the bat, I would have been able to come to the conclusion earlier that that style of deck is not very good, and I would have wasted less time and been less demotivated when I spent more time and kept losing, right? I would definitely try this type of thing again, but probably not set 3. Set 3 is kind of already established as you really need to put a lot of effort into getting all the cards, and some of the previous stuff is going to be useful, but not necessarily mandatory to move forward. Whereas with set 4, that's probably going to require some of the earlier stuff to be more mandatory. So we won't necessarily do sealed only, but we'll try to do something where we augment the space with extra stuff. I'm rambling. It's what I do. I failed this series, and this series failed you. And for that, I apologize. I know there's not a lot of people watching. I know there were some people that were interested in this, and I didn't do a good job in representing you in this and providing a product that would help you understand what's good about playing sealed only progression style and how that can be viable. At this point in time, at the end of set 2, I don't think it's viable. And the reason why is because there are not enough people that play low-end competitive decks or high-end, jank decks, stuff that kind of bridges that gap between like the straight middle, the lowest end of the competitive, and then the highest end of the jank. You have that real thin line of like where it manages to go between the two. It's either somebody's playing the jankiest jank to ever exist and they're just going to lose every round anyway, or they're all playing the tippiest top of competitive decks because, to be honest, there's a lot of wannabe competitive players. I do not see myself as a competitive player. I'd like to be better at competitive, but I'm not one of those individuals that's going to be able to go to a bunch of tournaments and pull off high-ranking stuff. I don't know if I've talked about this in a video before, and may have. If I have, it's a retread. I apologize. Out of all the games that I've played over the last 30 years, let's say 25 years, competitively, I've made top 8 in one regional competition in one game. It's one of those things where I worked hard at that and I did really good. And there was another game that I was absolutely sure I'd at least make it to top 8 to both of the large regional events that were happening in California at the time I was living there. And then the game died basically a month before those events happened. And that was really disappointing because I was prepared. I had prepared. I did my reps. I got my deck build. I was ready to go, ready to crush, ready to be one of the best players in the area. And it just didn't work out for me. I find myself having issues playing against people who are those hyper competitive types that only care about winning and only care about absolutely crushing their opponents. And they only care about being better at the game and playing other people who are also better at the game and never take the time to think about the other person might being a more casual player, right? So I went to that 1K that was out there as part of set 1, and I managed to go 3-2. Out of 7 rounds, I ended up dropping because I knew I was mathematically eliminated. I didn't want to bother playing the next 2 rounds because there was no point. There was no prizing on the line for anybody who was outside of top 8. And it was an hour-long drive, and I missed my dog and my wife. So, not necessarily in that order. Life happens, right? I would love to get better at competition, but I think the other thing that needs to happen is that people need to be more understanding of the casual market of the game, because there are people out there buying the stuff and wanting to play it because it's Star Wars cards. And Star Wars cards should be fun, but something about Star Wars draws in this hyper competitive pro player that makes them want to get in there and be as competitive as possible at all times rather than chilling out. You get those CEDH groups that want to play CEDH and they self-filter themselves out, but then you'll get that one person who's like a level 10 in Commander that wants to just stomp everybody and is like, oh, my deck's not that bad, and just stomps everybody, right? It's that dishonesty sometimes that you come across that's not great. I'm not saying all competitive players are like this, but there are enough that it causes problems. It's a lot of rambling to say that I will attempt to be better at these things in the future. I will attempt to bring you better content as it happens, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take some work, and there's only so much that I can do just by myself, honestly. I'm one of the few lone content creators on the market. There's a handful of other people. Most of the people that you see on here are groups because that's what people are gravitating to when it comes to what they want to see for content. And that's perfectly fine. You choose what you choose, right? And if you're here watching this, thank you for choosing me. I appreciate that. Y'all make my day a lot better. It is what it is. So in the future, probably not sealed only, but we'll see. Might try to see if for set 4 if I can do like a little mini league with the local group and see if people are interested in just doing our own separate section where the main group the main competitive group can do whatever they want, but the rest of us just do sealed only in like a pot of 8s and just go from there. An idea that you might want to try for your local group: start with a starter deck and a couple of packs, and then just grow packs from there on out. Make it part of the cost of the league, so that way the store at least has that support. Then you can go there every week, do your stuff, and it's cool. We'll talk about that at a future date. If you have any ideas, throw those in the description, in the comments below. It'll be interesting to hear what y'all have to say about my process here. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me today. I appreciate each and every one of you. We will endeavor to do better here at the RybackStun. Remember to like and comment on this video. Subscribe to the Star Wars Unlimited channel for all of your Star Wars Unlimited needs. Twilight Republic is around the corner. But with that, thank you, folks. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.